Okay, so I am going to make a shape like this. Um, so it's going to be kind of like a rectangular box. Um, the height is going to be 0.4 inches. The width is going to be 0.5 inches. The length is going to be 2 inches. And then out of both of the two sides, both of the two long sides, we're going to kind of cut out a shallow little piece, sort of like an indentation. So it'll look something like this. Are you following what I'm drawing here? And that's going to be on both sides. The rim around this little indent is going to be 0.05 inches. The depth of that indent is also going to be 0.05. And then out of the top, I'm going to cut 4 holes all the way through. So 1, 2, 3, 4. These are round holes, and they're evenly spaced. And each of these holes has a diameter of 0.3 inches. Okay. I think the usefulness of this shape is pretty obvious, probably, right? Just kidding. But this is just going to let me show some. So we're going to do the following things. This is the skills we're going to get to with this. First, we're going to see how to sketch something in 2D. And once you have that sketch, there's a few things you can do with it, but one of those things is you can extrude that sketch. So extrusion is like, imagine, like, anybody here have the Play-Doh Fun Factory when you were kids or now? You put a shape in front of this sort of nozzle that squirts Play-Doh, You put the shape in front of it, and then it sends out a long string of Play-Doh, continuous string that has that two-dimensional profile, like you're squeezing toothpaste through a tube, you know? And so that's what an extrude is. And so once you do this sketch, you can extrude it either as material, or you can also use this extrude to remove material. And we'll do both of those. And we'll use the hole command to make those 4 holes in the top. Then we'll use the pattern. And so this is a way that if you make a feature on an object and you want to make a bunch of them in a regular pattern, it's possible that it's kind of time consuming to make that feature and you don't want to do it 15 different times. So what you can do is define a pattern where this thing that you've already gone through the effort of making, you can continue either along a line or along 2 lines and make it like a plane, or you can do it in a circular pattern. And we'll talk about all that stuff, but we're just going to do a linear pattern on this. So I'm going to make one of those holes, and then I'm going to follow a pattern along a line to make it 4 holes. Then right now, the only things that we can make references to in this object are features on the object itself. But we can define other things as references, and one of the most useful ones is a plane. So we're going to define or construct a plane that then we can do other things from. And we're going to use a mirror command. That's another way if you go through the effort of creating a feature and now you want it as a mirror image across some plane or some other feature. This is a time saver. And then finally, the 7th thing we're going to do today, the last thing, is we're going to do a 2-dimensional engineering drawing of this shape. And this 2-dimensional engineering drawing is then something you could send to a machine shop to have it manufactured, or you could send it to somebody who's working on a project with you to say, this is the part we created. The part that you're creating that interacts with it needs to match, needs to work with these dimensions. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. Anyone have any questions about that before I start? All right. So the first thing I want to do is, as you can imagine, I just want to make that long rectangle. And so you can think of this as kind of defining the coordinate system. And, you know, the first thing you have to do is choose how this rectangular solid is going to sit in our space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to define a rectangle. Remember, the width of the base was 0.5 inches, and the length of the base was 2 inches. Okay. So I'm going to put one corner right in this corner. I'm going to make a length that's 0.5 inches this way, and then 2 inches that way. So I'm going to sketch a rectangle in this red and green plane. Okay? And then once I have that sketch defined, I'm going to extrude that shape in the 3rd dimension, sort of up out of that plane, and I'm going to extend it 0.4 inches. Does that make sense as a plan? You sort of follow the thinking on that? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is make a sketch. And the sketch tool is in this create section. It's this first one here. Okay, so go to that one. When you hover over it, it tells you what these things are. Go to the one that says sketch, create sketch, and click on it. And some coordinate axes highlight themselves to say, okay, how do you want to orient this? And I want to put it in the plane that we're kind of looking at. You can see that depending on what quadrant I go to, it sort of reorients things. I'm going to go to click on this quadrant that keeps it in the view that we're looking at right now. It's actually, when I click on that, it's going to take us into an exactly two-dimensional view of that red-green two-dimensional coordinate system. So I'll click on that, and it takes us there. So if you haven't done that yet, do that. And now we're in this environment for sketching. And with line tools and spline tools, you can do a lot of shapes. And you can fiddle around with that later on as you're getting used to this stuff. But all I want is a rectangle. And there's a tool here for sketching rectangles. And the way it works is you just click on the two opposite corners to define the size of the rectangle. So I'm going to go to this and click to turn on the rectangle. And I'm going to put one corner at the origin. So click there. And one corner up here, click there. Yeah.
You know where I can change the unit because this one used it's centimetric and
okay. Yes. That is, let's find that. So yeah, go to Documents and Settings. And units will come up. And if you click on the thing with the pencil in it, that'll let you edit it.
You said default?
I think the 3D printer and the CNC router are in inches as a default. So let's use inches for now. Okay, so now we got this rectangle here, but I wasn't careful about the sizes. And we want to make the short side 1/2 inch and the long side 2 inches. So in order to adjust those, go to, in this create section, the last one that is shown here lets you choose the dimensions. So click on the dimension. And if you click on one of these two sides and then drag that out, it'll show you what the dimensions are. Right now it says 3.05 inches. I want to change that to 2. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the other dimension. I want that to be 0.5. Anybody having trouble getting this to work? Okay, so now we have the complete sketch. So and once you have this, you can click finish. And you can see our sketch sitting there in the coordinate system where we put it.
How did you resize this one?
Yeah. So let me go back into this sketch. So you can always go back in if you, so there's the sketch. And if I right click on it and go to edit sketch, and it'll go back. So go to the dimension tool. It's the last one here. Do you see that?
Yeah.
And highlight one of the lines that you want to change the length of. Click on it, and then just click on it and then move the mouse to the side, and you'll see that number appear showing you the dimension. Do you see that?
Just like multiple sketches.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah. Yes, that looks great. And then you can just hit finish sketch. You find the dimensions. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. I see that. Yeah, that's fine. That doesn't affect anything. Okay, so now that we have this, so go to finish sketch, and now we can extrude this. So now we're gonna extend this in a third dimension out of that to make it a rectangular solid. So first highlight this sketch. Okay. And once it's highlighted, go to the extrude command. And that arrow says, do you want to extrude it in the direction of the arrow or in the opposite direction? This is the direction I want to extrude it. So I'm just going to enter in 0.4 because that's the height that we want. And you can see it tells you what the shape is going to look like. That's what I want, so I'll hit OK. And so now that we have this first solid shape on here, let's get used to the controls for moving stuff around, looking at different sides of it. There are three main controls we're going to use. One is zooming in and moving away from the object. And on my clicker pad, that's just two fingers moving up and down to move close and away. So try that and see if that's what it does. Also, notice that where the cursor is when you go out or away determines the point that you're zooming in on as you get closer. So that's a useful thing for looking at different points. So by choosing where the cursor is when you zoom in and out, it can avoid a lot of actually having to move that object to translate the view in the screen. Is everyone able to do this zooming in and out?
You can also use the little hand on the bottom row to pan the.
Yeah, to pan, right. And so the other two we're going to do is the pan and the rotate here. So, right, the little hand, click on that. And then if you hold down the button and move around, you can move the shape, translate the shape without rotating it. And when you're done panning, right click and cancel, and you can go to other commands. Yep.
I think something like that it change coordinates. So how can it change by X, Y, Z?
Oh, let's see. Where would that be? So it just changed the view that you're in?
Yeah. It's
Oh,
not being-
go to name views. Yep. And go to home. Is that the view you had before?
No,
Oh.
I guess something that it changed.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know what that would have been. Thanks for nothing. So has everyone done the pan control? And then the last one, this one's maybe the most important of all of them, is the rotation tool. The first one in my toolbar down here, if you click on that and then drag this around, you can move to different, you can adjust the rotation. And as you're doing that rotation, if you ever get lost, you can always go up here to named views and click on any one of those. Usually home is the one that I go back to, and it'll take you back to the view you had originally. Yep.
Browser tab disappeared.
Your browser tab. Let me look.
I will find this but not there too. On the side here.
Oh. Oh, all of the things. Where's the object go?
Like, no, how
Okay.
then Google.
Oh, yay. You did it.
My gosh.
So practice rotating this thing around a little bit. Okay, the next thing that we want to do is let's make the holes in the top. So we want 4 equally spaced holes, all with diameters of 0.3 inches. So I'm going to So what I have to do to make this hole is I'm going to tell it what plane. I'm going to first choose a plane. Okay. I'm going to say, okay, we're going to make the holes cutting into this plane. Like this is what we're drilling into. Okay. And then I'm going to sketch the shape of the hole, where I want the hole. And then we're going to have to tell it how deep we want it to go. And we want it to go all the way through. I did the, did the arithmetic or whatever to find the distances of everything. So you could imagine, you could figure that out if you had to, but I'll just tell you what numbers we need to put in. Yes. So let's click on the top. And then go to create and go to the hole. And I just clicked on the top view so I could look at it straight on. And right now, that hole is set for us to specify a distance that it goes into the material. Well, I don't want to specify a distance. I just want it to go all the way through. So I'm going to go over here and click on all, and it'll just go all the way through. And now I want to adjust the dimensions of this. You know what? I'm going to do this a different way. I wonder if I did this a different way when I... if you've already accepted that hole, delete it. Otherwise, cancel out of it. And so instead of doing it as a hole, I'm going to do it as I'm going to make a sketch on the top here. I'm going to sketch a circle, enter all the dimensions I want, and then I'm going to extrude that circle down through the material. So I'm going to highlight that plane again, and this time I'm going to go to sketch. And the shape I want is a circle on the center line. So I'm going to put it there like that. And now I want to adjust the dimensions. Well, you can see it's already on the center line. It's already centered side to side. So I don't have to worry about the location that way. But I do want to make the diameter 0.3. And to make all of these be able to be equal distance from each other, I want the center of the circle to be 0.31 inches from the top. So those are the two things I'm going to specify. Does everyone have a circle? Sorry for the false start there. Everyone have a circle sketch there on the top of the, yep. Oh yeah, you don't have, okay, so that looks like it might be the center line, but you can just put it there and we'll do another measurement to place it side to side. And then just pull out the circle. Anybody else? Okay, so the first thing I want to do is use a dimension to define the diameter. So go to the dimension tool and click on the edge of the circle, and then pull your mouse to the side. And right now it says 0.2524. I want to change it to 0.3. Any questions about getting that diameter distance defined? Yeah. Anyone else have any questions about that part? Okay, you're back in the solid environment, so we want to build that. So then the other dimension we want is a dimension between two things. So far, when we've done dimensions, we've just clicked on a single edge or a single side or something like that. This time we're going to use control to pick two things. Okay, so hit control and then click on the center of that circle. And then with control still down, click on the top of the rectangle. And that'll let you measure the distance between those two. And we want to make that 0.31. Anybody have any questions about that? You got that circle, the dimensions placed. Now, what happens if you don't have it placed side to side? You know, like what if mine just automatically clicked into the center of the rectangle, but what if yours didn't? Well, you could use control again, click on the center of the circle, click on this edge, and it'll give you the chance to enter the distance between the center of the circle and the left side or the right side. Oh, because it's that's control. That's weird. Can I? Okay, anybody else? Is that circle, those circle dimensions are working? So then you can finish the sketch. And now we're going to extrude this circle in the direction going into the material. So I'll go extrude, It guesses, it's guessing in this case that we want to put like a little knob on it, but we want to go the other direction. So you can just drag that arrow the other direction like that. And then we want it to be all the way through, not a fixed distance. So click on that extent type and go all. And then if you accept that, say you're done with the extrusion, you can rotate this around and see that that hole goes all the way through. Anybody have any questions about getting that hole to extrude through? Instead of doing the pattern and the mirror and stuff today, let's just do one more extrude and then we'll call it a day. And I'll just give you some stuff like this to get used to so you can just get used to the software and stuff. So the last extrude that we are going to need to do is I'm going to basically just carve out like a rectangular piece out of this side. And it's going to be 0.05 inches thick, and the edges are going to be 0.05 inches the whole way around. So I want to do this extrusion on this side. So I'm going to highlight the side and then go to sketch. And the sketch I'm going to make is a rectangle. And I want this rectangle to be 0.05 inches from the edge of the shape the whole way around. So it might have done that automatically, but I'm going to measure these to make sure. So to make sure that the distance between these two lines is 0.05, I'm going to go Control, click, click, and it is 0.05. So, but you can do that for each one of these four things.
How big is the triangle, the rectangle?
It is 1.9 long and 0.3 high, I guess. So let me know if you have any trouble getting that sketch dimensioned. Once you have all those dimensions in there, you can click Finish Sketch. And now we're going to extrude that shape. So you can highlight that shape, click Extrude. We want to remove material, so I'm going to drag that arrow the other way. And the distance we want is 0.05. Okay, so that's all we're going to do today. I guess next time we will go back to these shapes and we'll use a pattern to extend that row of circles. And we'll use a mirror command to mirror that extrusion we just did, that cutout rectangle, to the other side. Okay, I'll put up some sort of simple CAD things for you to work on for the week. And I will put up some more engineering lecture and video type stuff for the week. Okay, so if anybody has any questions, feel free to stay and we can work through stuff. And also I have office hours from 12 to 2, so I can talk about this as long as you want upstairs in the tutoring center.
Do we have to save this?
What?
Do we have to save this?
I think it auto save it. I would save it. Yeah. That would be a good idea.
Because we don't want to do it.
Yeah. It might auto save. I don't remember.